What's up? Welcome to your Self-Helpless snack, where we give you a little taste of the Self-Helpless podcast with a mini episode. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, you can find the full episode linked in this episode's description.
There's a few steps to it, so I'm going to talk about those steps, provided that there isn't some injury that has been incurred by the lack of the chemistry. Right. So injuries would be infidelities, excessive shopping, gambling, drinking, whatever. Right. So let's just say that there isn't some kind of a thing. There's just the kids are in kindergarten and we haven't done it in 3 years, and like that kind of stuff that happens. So then the first step is to essentially, the first question I will ask, and anybody listening can do this: what worked when you were dating? And then the next question is, are you still doing those things? So the answer is most likely, no, we're not doing that anymore, right? So here are some of the principles. This is why it's like physics, right? The principles of good attraction is don't spend every moment together, right? So which is what, when you're dating, you don't spend time together, but then you make the time to be together. And when you make the time to be together, you actually prepare for that. How do you prepare for that? You do everything from making fun plans, so it's exciting, or you spruce yourself up, polish, buff, shave, whatever, right? Dress, so that you are presentable in the romantic domain, right? Because you feel good about yourself. It's not about the gaze of another. It's about feeling really good about oneself, and also about making a bit of an effort, right? It's a special moment. Right. Then you take time away from your regular life, so you can actually tend to that building of the relationship. Which means you're probably not going to be twittering while dating, right? For the most part, not at the same time, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And you probably will not have a business meeting in between lunch and and your romantic walk or whatever else you're doing. So those are some of the things to reinstate. Spend time apart before you get together. Maybe even meet somewhere and drive there separately. If you drive there together, do not talk about your daily life. Right. Make an effort, plan something interesting. Now, one other aspect of good attraction is leading and following. That's one of the big principles, the dark and light, night and day, or whatever you want to call it, leading and following. So people can take turns planning a date and executing a date, and the other person gets surprised by it and goes along for the ride. No complaining once you've established the common, boundaries around what's admissible and not. If your partner takes you to Magic Mountain instead of Disneyland, you can't complain if you love theme parks. If you are mortally afraid of roller coasters, you can say no when taken on a roller coaster. People can take turns. You can play around with adventure, new things. One of the things that, of course, makes dating so exciting is it's all new. And then, of course, once you're in a relationship, you do the things that you always do because that's comfortable and commonality. So you always go to the little restaurant on the corner where they know your name and they bring your food out without you having to order. And that's very cool when you want to have a companionable, wonderful, relationally satisfying evening. Mm-hmm. If you want a hot date, that's probably not the way to go. Anything that's adventurous, anything that you would have done on an actual date, where you make a bit of an effort for the sake of it being a special moment between two people. So all of that works. In addition to that, and this is the thing that I was saying earlier, is you have to stay your own person. And that would mean maybe having some kind of a hobby or interest, or even reading something that you can bring to an occasion where it's just you and your partner without the kids or dogs or friends or whatever, where you can go, you know what I read yesterday? I never knew this, and this is really interesting. And did you know da da da? Or, oh, I listened to this podcast, and here are some things that I thought were really something I've never asked you about, or whatever. There's now several actually great kind of card games, all kinds of ways that you can create a different set of circumstances. And you'd be surprised how quickly that changes things, which, by the way, is why people go to hotels and vacations. Those are all attempts to create adventure and different. So different is good, adventurous is good, leading and following is good, interesting stuff is good. And essentially, undivided attention is good. There's a saying about this, right? Attention goes where energy flows, or energy flows where attention goes. You can go either which way. So you must bring the attention to the areas where you want the energy to go. How do you do that? Touch. Super simple. So what's furthest away from your head? This is one of the most surefire ways to actually start reversing that flow, is you touch your partner's feet. They touch your feet. And often what I tell people to do is sit on the sofa across from each other, right? So you're actually looking at each other. Put your phones in a box, turn the internet off. I know people, by the way, more and more so, who have an external switch, a time switch on their Wi-Fi, where it goes down at a certain time. Just sit and you give each other attention, which is one of those lost arts in relationship, is full, open, relaxed attention. Bring the energy from here down. Cardinal sin number one that people sometimes do, they don't understand that if you touch the head because it's tight, you're still bringing the attention to the head, and the energy will stay there. Or the shoulders, right? Even though that might feel good, it's much, much more fun to squeeze the calves, to massage the feet, to press your fingers into the bottom of the foot. When you're that much in your head, you need that interim step where you essentially go, let us be with each other, and let's bring ourselves energetically to the place where we actually want to engage.
Thank you for tuning in to Self-Helpless. You can find our brand new merch, Patreon community, and other fun goodies at selfhelplesspodcast.com. We'd be thrilled if you left an Apple Podcast review, shared this episode with a friend, or post about it on Instagram and tag us at Self-Helpless Podcast so we could repost you and say hi. As an independently produced show, we sincerely appreciate your support. Thanks, everybody.